And welcome to Mastering Your Message. We believe that you have a message and that people need to hear it. And so, if you want help getting that message crafted, getting that message battle tested, and of course, getting that message out there, you can get help from us here at Master Your Message. This is a new video message that we're going to do, and we hope that you enjoyed that. If you do enjoy that, make sure you hit the subscribe so you get more messages like this here in the video form, me talking to you, and of course, the videos we produce of the Master Your Message podcast here on YouTube as well. And of course, like it so more people like it and subscribe so you don't miss out on this. Now, what we're going to give you here today, and a quick lesson on messaging that I learned while watching the new hit on Netflix that is Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up is a movie that is hilarious as it is scary. Quick synopsis, very few spoilers here, is two scientists discover that a comet is making its way to Earth and it's going to basically collide with the planet and destroy everything. Spoiler alert, it actually does destroy everything. But in the process of having 6 months lead time to do something about it, we go through all the absurdities that are, let's say, American politics and just people in general. And it's a big parallel to everything from climate change to the stuff we're dealing with coronavirus and mass information and politics and all sorts of just insanity. It's so real, it's scary. It's so funny, it's hard to believe how real it is, but it's so real, it is scary. But you should go check it out for yourself. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio in one of his best roles, I think, playing an actual adult in his age group with kids and people of his own age group. Imagine that. Also, Jennifer Lawrence playing a young scientist, a doctoral student who goes a little weird, and some other big, I won't say they're cameos. There's a lot of big stars in this movie. This is not about the movie. This is about the lessons learned in messaging from the Don't Give Up and the messaging done or attempted to do in that movie. Now, I'll go along parts of the plot line so you go what's going on. But the first thing that I learned from watching Don't Look Up is no one wants to hear your message that contradicts the status quo or any shared reality. No one wants to hear your bad news that shakes them up and makes what they believe not right, or make you think that they believe it's not right. If you come up to someone and give them some knowledge, some truth, if you will, and it contradicts the truth that they have in their head, whether that truth is true or not, people are going to shut you down. People don't want to hear not so much bad news. People want to hear news that changes their worldview, that makes them look bad, that makes them look dumb, to be honest. In the movie, the whole "Don't Look Up" part comes from a slogan late in the movie where they're telling people, "Oh, don't worry about the comet, just don't look up. You won't see it." And then all of a sudden, some of the people who are chanting "Don't look up" actually look up and realize, wait a minute, there's a large ball of fire on its way to the planet. You told us it wasn't there, and now that I looked for it, it was there. The messaging from early on was there's a large comet 6 months away, and then once people start to see it, they really understood what was going on. But in the meantime, every piece of information that was put out there to tell people that there was this danger coming got scuttled by the people who didn't want people to get all panicky. Lesson number one. Lesson number two, the messenger or their perceived personality makes a difference. There is a distinct change in Leonardo DiCaprio's character in the movie. He starts off just nervous because he's a scientist, he's an astronomer. He looks for dying gas planets out in the middle of space. He doesn't do very much. He has a fairly normal life, fairly normal wife, two fairly normal kids, just nothing spectacular about them. And then he all of a sudden has this big discovery, and they send him out there on a press junket to, tell the world about what's happening. What happens? Well, after a bit of nerves and just sort of get himself calmed down, he sits in the chair in the makeup room. They put a little makeup on. They trim up his beard so it's not so much big and bushy, but it's nice and trim. And he goes on the air and he takes a deep breath and he walks through the process of what's going on in a calm and pretty composed manner. From there, because of the film and because of the way things worked out and the way it was just so hilarious, he was deemed America's sexiest doctor, which happens a whole lot these days. And he turns into a media celebrity. He goes kind of on a blitz of stuff. He starts to sell out his science. He starts to just kind of fall in line with the government and fall in line with what the people are playing because he's getting a big boost out of it. But People are listening to what he's saying because he's America's sexiest doctor. People are hyping him up as this great person, although the sexy part doesn't necessarily have to do with the science part, but sexy as science, I should say. But it's just a matter of he's hyped up in this big manner, so everyone's listening to what he says, even if what he's saying a lot of times is sort of not the truth. He starts to lay some of the disinformation himself in the plans to not try to destroy the comet on the way to destroy Earth and rationalize it by saying, well, maybe it might work. By contrast, Jennifer Lawrence, his partner in the movie, is kind of just schizophrenic nutsoid about everything and wants to blow up every single time somebody just sort of basically calls her out as being dumb, because she's not dumb. She actually found this comet out of nowhere, and comets coming to this planet and going to destroy the world. The basic premises of the story and what they should be saying is there's a large comet on the way going to destroy the world. We should do something about it. That is not what anybody wants to hear. That's not what anybody wants to deal with. She gets blasted all over the place. She gets deemed crazy. The FBI actually takes her off and takes her off the grid for a while because she's panicking people. She ends up back in her hometown, bagging groceries. In fact, her parents are a little wary of her because she's been saying all these negative things about the comet. And now at this point, the comet is becoming a positive thing because they want to mine the comet for gold and diamonds and whatnot, which it doesn't work either. Remember, everybody dies at the end. So, depending on who you are, your perceived personality makes a difference in your messaging. America's sexiest scientist got a chance to say more to the world and be more of an impact in his message, even if his message was skewered because he was groomed for the personality. Meanwhile, the rougher, the more raw personality that was basically saying, hey, y'all, we about to die, like we said, something that did not really feel right, really ruined the world view of other people out there, became the issue that obviously made her not exactly a fan of TV. Now, the people who need to hear your message are the ones who will put the most opposition to your message. That's the message number three, the point number three here. If you look in our world in real time, well, currently it is really the opening of 2022, and we're going into right about the true start to year 3 of pandemic life. And it's a whole new world, a whole different world than what it was 2 years ago. We have vaccines, we have plans to work things out. We know how to avoid the big issues of COVID-19, and even though some people can avoid it, but we have ways to limit the effectiveness of the virus and keep ourselves safe. So what do? We have people who are denying the science of viruses, denying the sciences of vaccines, and just denying the whole point of doing something a little bit safe for the sacrifice of many, just because the few want to have a little extra fun. And so that's what we have here in this movie. The people who needed to hear this message, the regular people that needed to know that something was going down, did not get the message. And once they got it, they fought it pretty tooth and nail. Like I said, there's scenes where there's people who are basically a carbon copy of the people we have sort of denying virus stuff and denying climate change, that once they're faced with the actual realization that, oh, there's a comet literally coming from the sky, I can see it, that all of a sudden have to change their ways and change their minds and change what's going on. That the people that really want to, fight that battle of you're trying to give them some sort of information, people doing that are usually the people who really need to take in that message and get it right and get it straight. That's one of the sad realities of people, I should say. Fourth message, when they finally receive the message, you will probably not get the credit. Plain and simple. When the message finally breaks through, when the communication, a message is sent, transmitted, and received. When that message is received, the message is properly transmitted, and the message is properly translated, and they understand the gravity of what's going on, they won't give that credit to the original sender. They're going to end up giving that credit to anybody else but their original sender or someone who deserves the credit. They will give the credit to someone who may have been the whole time denying the whole crisis, but all of a sudden sort of changes their mind and then they're their hero. So if you're trying to save the world with your messaging and people aren't listening, make sure your goal is to actually save the world, because when all is said and done, the fame and fortune of being that messenger probably isn't coming. You're going to be basically the pariah of the message for quite some time, including when those people who need to hear that message finally get the message. And remember, 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 on top of everything, it is your message to spread. So spread it anyway. And of course, just get a bit better at spreading the message. That's how you do a better job of being influential. That's how you do a better job of being a messenger. Whether you are using something like this video here or audio for podcasting, or you're writing things down in blogs, or giving actual speeches at places, doing real presentations in front of audience of people, make sure that you know that the message that you're giving belongs to you. The words coming out of your mouth are your words, and the feelings from your heart and your head are together, so that the message you are delivering is yours and yours, uniquely yours alone. It doesn't have to be a totally unique message, but the way you deliver it, the way you will give it out to folks, is where the uniqueness comes. It is your message to spread. And so you go out there and spread it, whether people believe you or not. If you have in your heart that is true, then go forth. Now, granted, remember, listen to your feedback. And sometimes you find out you may be the one spreading the misinformation. You may be the one spreading out the lies. They're not so much lies unless you're actually lying, but the misinformation, the wrong stuff out there. Make sure what you're producing is good, and good for the people you want to get it, the right audience. And of course, the most important part is, as you do more delivering your message, more writing, more speaking, more talking to the cameras, you get better. Why am I talking to the cameras now? This is something that I've been fighting for decades, literally decades. But this is a very, very effective way of communicating with people and messaging, not just because it's a platform on YouTube that goes out to the world, but because video itself, seeing someone talking, hopefully looking into the camera, that's what I'm working on, is something that helps out. So my message is on helping you master your message. Today, I'm having to use the movie Don't Look Up as the conduit to kind of deliver that message. And the more that I deliver more messages, the better I get at messaging. Hopefully, the better you will go into believing how well I'm doing messaging. That's it. 5 lessons learned from Don't Look Up, the movie on Netflix starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. The 5 lessons are: no one wants to hear your message that contradicts status quo or shared reality. The messenger or their perceived personality makes a difference. The people who need to hear your message are the most who will put up the most opposition. When they finally receive your message, you will probably not get the credit, and it's your message to spread. So spread it anyway, and just get better in doing that. That has been this edition of the video version of Master Your Message. So now that I've delivered this message to you today, I ask you to go to our website, podcastguidancefoundhere.com, and look for more information, more details on the Master Your Message program. We're going to have ways for you to, like we said, to get your message battle tested, get your message crafted, and of course, help you get it out there. We can't help you though until you go to the website, podcastguidancefoundhere.com, and check on the links for Mastering Your Message. This is for not only podcasts, this is for all sorts of messages, whether you're doing your quotes, whether you're doing your talks, whether you're doing your writings, and whether you're doing your videos. This all help a part of that as well. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. Till next time, be out there, get your message out there, and keep on doing it.